Steve, another topic, it's perhaps something we speak about less frequently, but equally as important, and that is creating a compelling pitch. Now, there's more to it than perhaps meets the eye. Could you just give us a little detail on some of the components around a compelling pitch?
Sure. So it is a bit more behind the scenes, isn't it? And maybe it's because there's a bit of an intricacy to it. But if you imagine when we're running strategy workshop or starting a project or a marketing retainer, we would do some things like we would make sure the brand guidelines are in place and they're all, just right. Tone of voice guide is there and just right. Photo library, video library, all the graphics and templates that we need. But another thing that we pull together is a pitch of the business or the product or the service. And we do it in a very, very structured way. It's always the same components because we know that there's a formula to a pitch that works where we've got to deal with certain things. If we deal with them, the pitch works. If we miss some out, it fails. So some examples, we would always cover off a clarity around what the business does. We get across the authority of why you should be working with this company instead of somebody else. We deal with the problem that the prospect has got and give a solution. We'd have something around a background story, a backstory about that organisation and the individuals involved. And we'd have a picture of what it looks like after you've worked with them as well. So what's the difference between people that have signed up for your product or service? And when we cover all those off, we actually find we get much better performance across all the marketing.
So what you're saying is there's more to it than meets the eye, and all those elements really have to be in place for it to be a success.
Yes, yeah.
Hence the importance to marketing.
Yeah. So, for example, some sort of classic scenarios would be that you've presented your product or service really well in marketing, and perhaps you've sort of reflected back to the prospect their problem and that you can fix it, but you've not dealt with you've not dealt with their top 3 objections that they usually got. So actually they just hesitate and don't make an inquiry. Or it might be just that you don't get across your authority as well as you could do, and somebody else gets it across better, so they win the inquiry or they win the sale. But if you get the pitch bang on, then you win on all these things and you get a much better conversion rate on your website or your campaigns.
And it's interesting what you say there, because a pitch isn't just one moment in time, is it? There are elements to a pitch that are happening all the way through the process over many days or weeks, potentially, in an engagement with.
Yeah. So I'll just share a little interesting one on that, actually. So we know that when we build a pitch with a client, so we built our own pitch as well, we know that we can run that pitch in a sort of sales environment. It can work as a sales pitch. So I can do a 15-minute presentation and, we can get a really, really good conversion rate on that. But that's not the only place where we should see that pitch. So a really cute tactic is that we take all of the components of the pitch, of which we have 8. We also map out the same 8 components in every one. And if we blend those through the journey of the marketing that the prospect's been seeing, by the time they come to see the pitch, they're actually already sold. Or when they make their inquiry, we've actually covered off everything they could be worried about or everything they could be excited about. So just having that structured pitch, it's, the 8 things that we need you to know in order to make an inquiry or buy from us. We've covered them off. You're relaxed about them all. It might have taken 4 weeks of marketing, but we've got you there. And actually, when you do the call to sign up or fill out the form, it just reinforces it all. And you go, yes. Oh, I know that. Yes, great. Yeah. And we've had some brilliant wins ourselves with that sort of formula as well. And I've wins where we've done a pitch and the clients just nodded through it and said, oh, we know all this. It's great. We want to sign up.
Because already over the preceding weeks, you'll have perhaps countered some of the concerns already or built on some of the things they're excited about.
Yes.
So some of those questions almost don't need answering by the time you get to a final meeting.
Yeah, I think the prospect, when it's working well, when a pitch is working well, the prospect feels like you're the only provider for them. So you've told them we work with people like you. This is our track record. Here's your problem. Here's our solution. Here's what it's going to feel like after you've signed up with us. When you get all that right, your inquiries just skyrocket.
I can clearly see from the way you're describing it, the impact it can make. Can you tell me how much of an impact it can make?
Yeah, well, I could tell you a crazy one from ours. I mean, I'll share this one, and it's a little bit of an example, but we did a thing when we had the lockdowns, and we did all our pitches on videos. So we watched back all the pitches afterwards, and we watched for body language. in response to particular points or slides. And we could see when people were shuffling. And so we kept swapping elements out and optimizing it. It was a real sort of precision job. But we got the conversion rate up from a third up to around about 80%. And it was by every component we got just right. We dealt with every objection. We learned every objection. We learned how to position ourselves against competitors, and just got the whole piece bang on. And so we've done that for ourselves and done that for clients as well. And when you do it across all the marketing, it has a massive impact.
If you can take the conversion from 30% to 70% or even more at that point in the process, that's huge.
Yeah, I think we were quite an extreme example because in the lockdown, you had such an amount of time to do this. But yeah, just changing the pitch got a massive impact on performance of all the marketing.
That's really interesting. There are many more elements to it than perhaps initially meets the eye. Is there sort of an overall takeaway to do with that compelling pitch, an overall sort of overarching?
Yeah, so overall takeaway, well, I'll just share one thing that we see. It's like there's a point in a business's life before it's got its perfect pitch sorted, and there's a point afterwards. And the point before it is that everyone in the business and every piece of marketing is talking about that product or service a little bit differently. And then afterwards, everyone's united and everyone's on the same page. And when the whole business speaks in exactly the same way about its strengths, we just see a complete change in performance. So it's get it done and then it's there forever.
Terrific. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Benchmark your company's digital marketing with this free tool. It takes 5 minutes to audit your strategy and you get a free report with recommendations. Visit bespokedigital.agency/free.